career in the last few years has been very broken. It hasn't been on a great flow, so it is a bit tough.
What is it you'd want to do? What's the ideal job or role that you want to do?
That's interesting because I've been asking myself that because I lost a few years. I had chronic fatigue for 4 years and I had to literally pull out of life and take another snapshot at what I wanted to do. I love being in a series. I love the environment. I love the work.
Is there stability with it that comes with it?
There's stability, but I guess, I've done quite a lot of theatre and musical theatre and I don't want to travel like that at the moment with Layla, my daughter at that age. I just don't want to. And I'm very into, I teach meditation, I do corporate speaking and teach how to deal with stress, and meditation is a huge part of that, and I'm actually recording some meditation CDs.
Great.
And that's a very big, the spiritual side of things is an enormous pull for me and fascination for me.
So meditation.
Meditation's a big thing for me, and I think that's what really got me through all my kind of like the roller coaster. It's very grounding, and I've been doing it. I started when I was pregnant. I've been doing it for 12 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
And it feels like I've just begun, because the more you learn, the more you know, the more you realise there is to know. And especially with anything to do with energy and energy healing and working, the inside job is the biggest job.
So when you say you're doing some meditation CDs, what are you actually producing, the music, or
no? I'm actually at the moment I'm sourcing the music. I write the meditations, and I'm focusing them. Well, the first lot are going to be towards beginners, sports people. What?
Meditating.
No, absolutely
for beginners,
not.
How to,
I think hard's not the right word, because it actually gives you an enormous sense of freedom.
Yeah.
If you consider the brain, when your brain's thinking, you think of an average of 60,000 random thoughts a day, and that's a lot of thinking, and and it's very draining for you. And the difference between when you're in a state of meditation is like the difference between Times Square on a peak hour and sitting on the beach by yourself, and it gets you into a complete state of quietness. And it's difficult to get into, and it's actually the persistence of staying with it. And the more you do it, the quicker you drop into what they call the gap. And it's an amazing high.
Do it with your daughter as well? Or?
She meditates,
Wow, at a great age.
Yeah, well, since she was breastfeeding, I'd speak them to her.
So she'd be very placid, your daughter.
She is placid. Well, she's got that kind of personality. She's like her dad, nothing flusters him. But he got me into meditation. He was a downhill Olympic skier, and he used it to stay very focused and not let things, especially travelling at 97, 98 kilometres an hour, bother him.
So how has it been hard for you? Obviously, you've been through a few relationships. And none of them have lasted a certain time. How do you deal with that?
I think, look, there's a few ways of looking at it.
You've had the rejection again, do you feel
well,
the
maybe
same
that's.
rejection?
I do suffer rejection quite badly, and I think maybe I've brought things into my life to really get to the core of that rejection, so I have to really explore it.
This life journey is for you to learn it.
But I also do think that there's certain people that come into your life for a long time, and some people that come in for a short time, and we learn from those people. So I don't really have a problem with that. I'd like most people to be in an ongoing long relationship, but I also won't stay in one if it's not best for everybody.
What is it you look for?
I think I was looking for how I was brought up, a roller coaster. And
well, that you've had, your life is, I mean, we're only touching the surface.
But not that I want that, not that it's good for me, but I think
attracted to you.
I think when whatever you experience as being home, you bring into your life in a partner, and so I was choosing the wrong partners. And once recognising that and truly recognising it, I can turn that around. And I've been pretty much single for a couple of years. I've had a short fling, but nothing.
Is that hard? How are you dealing with being single?
Physically it's hard. I crave the cuddles and the holding, but emotionally, no.
At first it would be a shock though. I mean, I hate being single.
Well, I've got...
Been there already 2 years.
I've got... I'm 2 years too. But I've got... I did have one interlude, and it was so exhausting that I just sort of went, oh my God, I remember, and it was painful. But I have my daughter, and I've got
So that you've got a distraction.
And I have, you know, my faith. I believe in God, and I feel very connected on a universal level. I don't feel isolated.
Yeah.
But I am ready. I mean, but
ready.
we can always.
Oh,
cuddle,
we can do it. Yes,
darling?
we can cuddle.
We're good at that.
Or maybe we'll just put it. Anyone offers out there?
Yeah. No, I just want to get it right this time.
Yeah.
I want to be a little more discerning, and when I feel. Every single time it hasn't worked, on some level I've known my instincts have been quite attuned, and I haven't listened. I've ignored my instincts because I've wanted to be in a relationship. So
is it something that you think that you did in the relationship? Do you
I think
look
it
at
takes.
that, or it's got to be both?
It's just not meant to be.
Yeah.
I don't think it's. I don't think I actually
Chemistry
do anything. I think you can lose respect. You can have different lifestyle patterns, smoking, drinking, drugs, and suddenly these things come out, and you go, well, that doesn't work for me anymore. So I don't think it's anyone's fault. I just think you've got to look at a lot more of the ingredients in a relationship.
You had what I would call an extremely colourful life, I must say. I mean, where do you go from here? Where do you want to go? What's your journey from now?
I just, as I get older, I just think the 40s are going to be fantastic for me. And I feel much more settled as a person. And
you've really embraced the 40 factor, I must say. I mean, most people have this age problem. Oh, I'm hitting 40. Whereas you look 29. You haven't hit 40 in your mentality, I don't think, because
I feel I have. Oh, well, I've got a young soul. I've got a young spirit.
Definitely.
But I'm definitely a lot more underneath all this, however I come across, is I feel quite settled now, and I feel much more womanly, and I much prefer it.
So is your 40s your best period then, you think? More so?
I mean, I'm only early into the... Yeah. Oh, yeah, the 30s were tough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More about the 20s?
Out of control.
Out of control.
Yeah.
And thus again, less than that again.
Yeah.
So you start off a bit rough. In retrospect of your life, how do you see it?
Wonderful. I bless it. I love every moment of it. And even the bad stuff, it's made me a much more compassionate person, and I think that's an enormous part of having a successful life, is connecting with other human beings. And if you haven't had experiences, you don't have a lot to connect with.
Exactly. So no regrets at all?
No. None.
Is there anything you'd want to do again? Like if you went, if I could just go back and do something different?
I'd like to be able to have a child with a family and not bring my child into a broken family like I had.
We're out of time, unfortunately, and I'd love to spend another hour with you indeed.
We can do that
Maybe
later.
Well, thanks so much for being a part of the show.